Hey there, it's Basic Dude with your basic trainer in casual mode. And as we've always done in the past, and I hope we continue to do so, I'm going to go ahead and review the mission archives and the star map. Take a quick glance at those, and then we're going to review the various upgrades available and our first trips to the laboratory. And here we see we've got a new Zerg item available to us. One is the Predator, which I've got to say I've never used, and Hercules, which is a transport vessel, allows you to carry up to 24 units in it. It's a great piece of equipment because even if your vessel gets shot down, you don't lose your units. So we're going to go ahead and research that, and I've always picked that. Next item we want to go to is the Cantina and visit with Mr. Hill and see what new mercenaries are available to us. Now, the new item here is the Hells Angels, which are 3 Viking fighters beefed up, and we're going to go ahead and hire those guys. Again, I think that the Viking is a key unit in the campaign, and you want to go ahead and have these guys available to you. From there, we're going to go ahead to the armory and take a look at that armory console. And let's see what's new in the armory. In the base, we've got nothing really new. And infantry, again, nothing new there. Let's take a look at vehicles real quick. And nope, nothing new. Oh, look at this. We got the Viking again, and we've got 2 upgrades available for the Viking. The first is the Riftwave missiles, which will give us a little bit of splash damage out of our Viking. So we definitely want to get that. There it is in action again. The other is the Phobos class weapon system, which increases the range of the Viking. Another, I think, important addition. So we're going to go ahead and purchase that. Now, we're done with the armory, and we're going to go ahead to the bridge. Now, at the bridge, we're going to not go forward on any missions. We're going to go ahead and do Haven's Fall, which is the alternate mission to Safe Haven. And we're going to bring this up to speed so that all of our presentations will be at the same level. The hard, brutal, normal, and casual. From here on forward, we'll have the same upgrades in the presentations.
We'll save the whole damn planet from being overrun. Ain't nothing a little fire won't cure. Not a ground to cover up.
That's our primary objective, is to stop the birophages.
Don't worry about it. Swan's already got that covered.
And again, we're going to be introduced to the Viking. Swan will tell us.
Don't forget, these bad boys can switch between air and ground mode anytime you need them to.
Those Vikings will make all the difference. But it looks like some of these pesky colonists are turning already.
Again, if you did Safe Haven first, you've seen the Vikings in action.
Just get this done.
If you've chosen Haven's Fall first, say hi to the Vikings. Things that are important in this Haven's Fall mission is to not allow any of the virophages to take root and spawn. And the reason is that they will spawn a lot more adversaries, and the main adversary, or strongest adversary, will be the Aberration, which is a very strong unit. It takes a lot of damage. It's a melee unit, but it can really do a lot of damage to your base defense. And if you've got 2 or 3 or up to the 5 colonist outposts infected, you're going to see non-stop attack with these aberrations up against your defense, and it will be quite trying. So again, our main mission here will be to stop the virophages from taking root, spawning, whatever terminology you want to use in terms of that context. We're going to be loaded up here in a second. And again, we're going to take a look at the opening cinematic for our mission in a second here. There we go. And there we go. That's our primary target,
that
the
virophage structure is
virophage.
spreading the Zerg virus to the colonists. We've got to destroy all the virophages.
Now,
The
when we
more
get
them there
control
are,
of
the more
our
infested we'll have to
units after this cinematic,
fight. Sir,
we're gonna
detecting some
take
large
a
Zerg flyers.
big
They match
U-turn
reported profiles
from what
road
is
boards.
a standard
Be careful.
opening.
They're lethal against ground targets.
We think it's best to attack
Hit 'em from the air.
this particular base immediately before you even collect minerals. There's no defense here,
Made for battle.
and so we're going to go ahead and put our Vikings in Control Group 1 and send them out to attack
I want
the
anyone
air
that leaves the
units
ship wearing
in
a
that
suit.
particular base.
More people getting infested.
From there, we'll go ahead and get our
The
SCVs
infested too, brother.
mining, and
My
we'll
orders
start
still
setting up
stand.
our base perimeter
Any problem?
with initially one bunker at the north end and one bunker at the south end. And you're going to end up with more defense, but initially we want to get these things set up right away because the attacks will start almost immediately. The 2-minute mark we'll get our first attack, and that'll be at the north base. Now we've taken out all the air units in the infested area there. Bring your Vikings back to base. Do not make any additional attacks. Do not land to destroy that virophage. We'll take that out a little bit later, and we'll talk about that then.
Let's get into the fight.
Our objective here is to get to 24 Vikings ASAP while we're building up a base defense to withstand the Zerg. So again, prime objective is to get 24 Vikings. This is the only thing that's going to stop the virophages from taking root. So very, very important. In the meantime, again, start building up your SCV mining capability. We'll eventually want to put a couple on the gas, but first we want to get Vikings. And actually by the time we get to the first infestation, we want to have 7 to 8 Vikings available to us. So we should be able to withstand the ground attacks with our current forces, but we want to build up
Let's get into the fight.
that north base defense first,
Fight or flight.
as most of the ground attacks will come from that come to that area in the beginning. So you want to start filling those bunkers. I suggest that you don't put the fire bats into the bunkers and keep them kind of hanging loose. Since you've only got one bunker, kind of your wild card in terms of that defense of that particular area. Also, because they are somewhat of a melee unit with a range of only 2, you're restricting what their damage can be done. So again, I left them out of the bunker, and if you do end up putting them in the bunker, you may want to swap them out with a Marauder later. And again, keeping that range attack in mind. So again, we're building our Vikings, and right now we've got 5. We'd like to get 2 to 3 more before we make that first base attack. In this particular casual level, we won't have any difficulty, and so let's keep that in mind. But as the levels, as you proceed upwards in the levels, obviously it's going to get a lot harder. Again, casual level, you're facing off against a half value in terms of hit power and life of the opposition, in this case again Zerg. So keep that in mind. We're up to 6 Vikings. So we're still going, and again, we've added a couple SCVs to our Geyser Vespene gathering, and we're going to keep on going here. So again, we want to get as many Vikings in the air as possible. That race to 24 is on. So here we go. Add your supply depots, and again, when you can, because we're short on Vespene, take those excess minerals to build up your defense within the bunkers. Right now, prior to the attack, that's the infestation from the south, we're going to get attacked at the south base area by 3 Mutalisks, and this is at all levels. You should withhold your attack against the south infestation until those 3 Mutalisks are completed with their attack. Now, if you happen to venture out, you may want to draw back into behind your bunker, so that it'll somewhat shield you from the damage. Again, we want to minimize the damage. We want to take as many of our Vikings into the attack against the infestations as we possibly can. So again, we want to keep that in mind. We're now got 7. That's a comfortable, if not minimal, number when the attacks come at any of the levels for that south infestation. So right now, again, casual level was easily attained. At the brutal level, you'll just barely get your 6th and possibly 7th Viking before you need to make the attack against the infestation. So let's, again, keep that in mind. Some of this is going to look a lot easier than it is. There's that Zerg attack that I mentioned, and now when we're apprised of the infestation in that south base, we'll go ahead right after it. And again, these first 2 or 3 base attacks, you need to kind of keep these things in mind. We're going to make some pretty strong statements in terms of what needs to be done, and I think they're very important. I think they really will gauge the success of your mission.
Invested or heading to a settlement in the south.
Here we go. Matt's told us the infestation is there, and so we're going to send 9 Vikings out against it. Again, we are in good shape, and so we're going after that infestation. It's really not going to take a lot of micromanagement. We're going to take a little bit of damage from the mutalisks that are there. Once you get past the mutalisks, there really isn't any additional anti-air. Except at the brutal level, there may be a couple of infested marines included in the mix, but they will be on the ground. They won't be in the air. So once you've got the air units destroyed from the Zerg, you want to go ahead and land your Vikings on that ledge, just like we did in Safe Haven. And if you didn't do Safe Haven, land them on the ledge, because that gives you an opportunity to snipe that spawning Virophage without taking additional damage from the ground units. Once you've eliminated the Virophage, lift off immediately. Don't land into the base to take care of the rest of the units, and head off a little bit to the southeast. This is very important. There are 6 Vespene pellets that are available to us here. You see we're running really short on gas. This is going to give us the gas we need to bring up our Vespene total somewhat closer to our minerals, and give us the opportunity to build the Vikings that we need for the additional infestation attacks. Very important here. Do not miss this step. At this point, we're going to go ahead and take our Vikings back to the base for healing. And we're going to continue building more Vikings and building up our base defense. Now, you're going to want to have a second starport and barracks in the hard and brutal level. You may want to defer building those a bit until you've got a little bit more of your defense set and a few more Vikings. I've gone ahead and done it now just to get it out of the way, but it's not necessary yet. You're not developing enough minerals to really take advantage of the additional production. So let's go ahead and keep that in mind. You're going to want those 2 items though at a later point in the mission, more toward the midterm. Again, a favorite of mine is to call on the War Pigs as base defense, and we're going to bring them up to that northern area, even though I've said that the southern area will take more ground attacks. We need those War Pigs in the southern area because of the air attacks, and since we're not going to put them in the bunker, we can rush them back to the south bases quite readily. So again, we're not going to put the War Pigs in the ground army into the bunkers. So there we go. There's our first medic, and she's going to help keep these guys alive. We're still on our race toward 24, and right now we're at 13, and we're not doing too bad. Now you're going to want to build an engineering bay, and again you may want to add that engineering bay up before the starport and barracks that I rushed in there early. Again, for the defense against the Zerg air attacks. You won't have many, if any, air attacks against that south base area once we've taken out the air in the first infestation there. If we had left that infestation there, we would have gotten attacked by brood lords against our south base. So again, without that base being active, that infestation area being active, we really shouldn't have much, if any, air activity against the south entrance. So again, we're building up our Viking force, and we're starting to get that defense set. And again, you know my philosophy regarding who belongs in the bunker, and I always like that one Marauder, 4 Marines thing in this configuration. So that's what we're working toward. Now, that Class 5 biosignature is your cue to take out the virophage in that infestation area. The Class 5 biosignature is an aberration. Very tough on ground units and ground targets. Can really rip you a new one. And the virophage is the one that spawns that.
Is being infested by the Zerg.
Just take out the virophage. Don't do anything else. You don't need to attack the rest of the buildings. And actually, we just got called away to take care of the infestation. And even if we didn't have that particular situation, you don't need to take out the rest of that base at this point.
I'm worried about what you might do.
So let's go ahead and attack that infestation again. We've got a pretty sizable Viking force right now. And we're going to go ahead and take out the air forces first. Again, clear the air. The broodlords especially, because if you were to land your Vikings there, right now they would take some major hits from the broodlords. And once we've taken out the air units, you want to go ahead and land your Vikings in as clear of an area as you possibly can. In other words, don't land in the middle of all the Zerg forces. Try to find a somewhat cleared area and attack the virophage. When you take that out, you're going to want to go ahead and lift off your Vikings. There we go. And we're going to want to bring them back for repair. And again, continue to keep building. We want to minimize our damage. As long as that infestation area is there, and also we've got that base of the Zerg in the north there, do not get too close to either of those. You're going to take some pot shots from those bases, from either hydralisks or possibly infested Terrans. And you want to, again, minimize your losses on your Vikings, the damages to your Vikings. So again, avoid those areas. Circumvent them, fly around them when you come back to base. But when you want to come back to base, again, always to repair. And also you want those Vikings available to you just in case you need them as additional ground defense. So keep those Vikings close to home after you take out the infestations. Bring them home, get them repaired. The north base area again takes basically ground attacks. So we've got to keep that in mind, and some of those attacks are pretty heavy. Again, we're starting to build up our ground army and our ground defense right now with some additional war pigs. And again, I like those guys, and it's the additional beef they carry with them is a big help, especially in these early goings. There we go. And we've got 23 Vikings. We're just about there. We're going to be in golden shape. Once you've reached that 24 Viking limit, at least for the first half of the mission, that should be adequate. You want to focus now on building up your ground army for attack. We're going to do a combined arms attack of ground and air when we go out against these Zerg bases. You're also going to want to build another command center, and I always put my command center on that particular ledge. We've configured our gameplay not to include at this point any of the tanks, etc., because tanks aren't available till after the dig mission. So put your command center up there. Just keeps your base area cleaner to give you more room to build up your forces, and I just think it's the right place to put those. So again, we've got 25 Vikings right now, in pretty good shape, and we're going for it. Now you're actually waiting around for the infestations while you're building up your ground forces. You can't go in and, let's call it, preemptively strike the area because there's nothing there. It's a miracle, if you will, of StarCraft that the infestation appears. And I'll say to you that I've put in a few bunkers over playing this mission in the areas, and even a bunker or two with Marines won't stop the Zerg from being there, so just kind of let that go. Anyway, at this point we're going to go ahead and take out that first infested area. We've got plenty of Vikings. We're going to be able to do that without too much difficulty. And again, we want to eliminate that potential snipe area when we're bringing our Vikings back from the additional infestations which we're going to have to face, especially from that north and northeast area. So now we'll clean that area out, and actually that is one area that the Zerg will not reinfest. The other colonist bases will be reinfested. We're going to end up visiting them more than once during the course of the mission. This is a little bit of a lengthy mission, by the way, so just keep that in mind. Now here's another important area that I want you to kind of be aware of. And we're going to attack an infestation in the southeast there. And again, we're going to send our Vikings out at this 25 numerical superiority level. You're not going to require a lot of micromanagement. Not to say you want to ignore it, but you don't need a lot of micromanagement once you've got the primary anti-air Mutalisks out of the way. So shepherd your Vikings to take out the Mutalisks. And once that's accomplished, you can pretty much let them go free against the remaining air units. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and take out the rest of the air units. Draw back into that clear area. Again, trying not to be surrounded by any Zerg forces to take out the virophage. Now I'll say here that there's a couple of Vikings that didn't land. It's not always important that all your Vikings land to take out the ground opposition. Matter of fact, if you happen to miss a Broodlord or possibly a Mutalisk, it's not the worst thing in the world to have a couple of those Vikings in the air. We're going to go ahead and pick up now a couple of Vespine pellets again that we could have gotten when we first took out that central base. And it chose not to. But we're going to go ahead and get those now. And they just show up on our mini-map as little white dots. And we're going to be over that area. There we go. We're going to go ahead and land the Vikings into that area. And there we go. We picked up those particular pellets. Yeah, right now we're not in dire need of gas, but we might as well do it. There's an additional 4 pellets of gas just a little bit southeast of the base we just protected from infestation. And we're going to go ahead and pick up those pellets right now also. Now, obviously we could have picked those up first before the other. But we'll get those. We got those now, so again, you want to pick those up. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that, and we're going to bring our Vikings back in the base for repair. And as you notice, our mineral patches are starting to diminish. We've had some pretty good saturation. We've been building forces. We've got ourselves a really nice standing army. And we've got a good Viking force. So we're ready to go. Actually, if I can here right now, we've got roughly 32 ground units. And in the other levels, when we go to attack the Zerg bases, if you can get to that 32 level of ground units, along with 24 of the Vikings, I think you're in good shape to go ahead and attack that North Zerg base. Now again, we're attacking the Zerg bases in a clockwise motion. Again, we're going to go north, that central eastern base, and then into the southern base. One, because we're going to need that north base for our expansion. Second, it's not as heavily defended as the south base. And it also gives us a map control area. So we're going to want to take out that north base second. That's the second infestation to take care of. So right now we've built up that ground force to 42, which is more than adequate. And we're going to go ahead and take that attack to the Zerg in a few moments here.
Yes, sir. Fight or flight. Yeah, right. Who wants some?
There we go. We're posturing our troops outside of the base. And we just got a little bit of a attack by some Mutalisks. Now, I'll say that normally you're going to get some sort of base attack just before a infestation. So that's kind of a cue to know that there's an infestation coming shortly. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start moving out. And the way I like to move out here against the Zerg bases is to take my control group 2 and with the follow command attach them to the ground army.
Sir, the infested are closing in on a settlement to the
And
north.
again, the follow command being a right click, group 2 control right click on one of the ground units. And again, I like to use the Beefrier units, either the Firebat or the Marauder, to help follow. Now, as we indicated, we got the queue and we've got that infestation going in that northeastern sector. So we need to throw our Vikings up against that infestation. Then we've got a little bit of a glitch here, or a misclick, not sure which, but once you've taken your control group 2 and had it, given it its own command, it should have detached from the ground units. For whatever reason that didn't happen here, whether I possibly right-clicked and had my ground unit attached to control group 2, is possible, but again, they will detach. I think it was a glitch, and actually what we're doing here is recasting our control group 2 and our control group 1, so that if it was a glitch, we're correcting it for the future. So now again, we're bringing our ground forces back to finish cleaning out that expansion area. And again, we've got quite a ground force now available. We're going to bring up those reinforcements. We're going to lift off our command center and direct it to the expansion area. And our Vikings are coming back to base to get repaired. And did we get the timing right or what? We've got a lot of idle SCVs available to repair our forces. So the timing is good. You don't see that good timing in most ballets. So here we go. And we're going to go ahead and complete the clearing of that base. Now again, you're going to remember that
Picking up 2 more concentrations of Zerg biosignatures.
you can't land your command center until that Zerg creep is gone. So we're going to have a little bit of a time lag here before our base is settled. And we're able to actually start mining that base. So we kind of need to bear with that. There's that Zerg creep. It's starting to dissipate. But again, until it's all gone, we won't be able to land our command center. We're also going to want to set up some defensive bunkers in that area. And in the meantime, you do want to go ahead and have your ground force, with, again, control group 2, doing a little bit of patrolling. The Zerg will try to infiltrate or attack, if you will, into this particular area again. And actually, at the brutal level, we had a couple slip through. And we paid the price for not maintaining that. So the alternative to, as an alternative to patrolling, if you slip your control group 2 into that slot area where we're not placing any bunkers, that should take care of that particular situation. Now, again, we're going to place out 2 bunkers there in that
Upgrade complete.
for defense. And additionally, we're going to, after we've landed our command center, we're going to make it a planetary fortress. There we go. And you want to do that when the minerals are available. When you get at the hard and brutal level, you may not have any minerals left once you make the transition to your expansion. So as soon as the minerals become available, you do want to include that that add-on to your command center. You want to make it a planetary fortress. So again, we're building up the bunkers. We're going to transfer out the defenders from our south base entrance over to the new bunkers. That way we won't have to keep
Upgrade complete.
those Marines idle now. I would say that you don't necessarily have to salvage those 2 bunkers if you don't need the minerals. That's an option available to you. And as I mentioned in the brutal presentation that you're more than welcome to look at, had we left those bunkers there, we wouldn't have incurred the invasion, because
Upgrade
those
complete.
2 bunkers, though they're not manned, would have been, I think, substantially enough to stop the attacks that were coming toward our base at that time from the infiltration. So again, we're going to keep on going here, and again, we're going to reestablish our
No
mining
settlement has been
operation,
infested by the Zerg.
and we're almost maxed out on the supply limit. So in the casual level, we're not going to build too much more. At the other levels, you will continue to build up your army, your ground army, and but right now we're going to take care of that infestation in that central area. And again, it's our second trip to this particular base. So again, we do know that those colonist bases do get reinfected. So again, we're going to go ahead and take out the air units. Once the air units are destroyed, we're going to want to take out the virophage with ground forces. And again, we're going to direct our Vikings into as close a clear area. In this particular instance, there wasn't any before we land them, but we took nominal damage on landing. So again, once the virophage is destroyed, lift off and take your Vikings out to get them repaired. Again, we had incurred a lot of damage at the casual level. That won't be the case in the other levels.
Upgrade complete.
What's going on? Go ahead.
Alright, so we're going ahead and I'm going to exploit that expansion by going after all the gas and all the minerals. Again, at the brutal level, at the hard level, this is going to be mandatory because you're going to need those minerals and Vespene to keep your army intact. Now, I'll say to you that as the infestations increase, in other words, right now we've going into the second round of infestations, the Zerg forces at the hard and brutal level will be upgraded. They will get more difficult to take out. So we're going to want to possibly increase the number of Vikings to 35 or 36. But anyway, let's go ahead and attack the second Zerg base. And again, we're going to follow the same procedure. We're going to attach our control group 2 to the ground forces. And we're doing this to give the ground force sight and vision into that Zerg base area. And even though we'll take a few shots from the spore crawlers there, and there won't be any significant damage done, and it will limit the damage against our forces because they will have sight. Their guns will be in play. So again, we're going to use that attach command or follow command. Again, control group 2. Right click on a unit. Again, preferably in my belief, a Marauder or Firebat. And we're going to go ahead and make this attack. Now we've landed our Vikings to assist in this attack. And we're going to take out this base in short order with our army, which is, again, quite big at this level, at the casual level, where we've got all the overkill we need to dispatch that base. So here we go. The attack's just about over. And once we've got this thing secured, I'm going to go ahead and lift off our
This area is secure.
Vikings again, and we're going to want to take them back to get them repaired again. Keep those Vikings repaired. And as I say that, I remember now that we didn't get this set of Vikings repaired. And that's an oops. Don't do an oops. Actually, I guess we must have been distracted here because there's two oopses here. We sent our ground force into a blind corner to get ready for the next attack. We want to send them around that base, not into that base. So we're going to have to redirect them. But we want to attack the final Zerg base head on from the coming out of the north as opposed to coming out of the east. And we do that because we'll be able to cut off any of the Zerg attacks that may be coming out of that remaining base, directed against our
Heading to a settlement in the south.
northern bases. So now we're going to take our unhealed Viking force into that new infestation area. Again, do not attack the infestations without Vikings. Those brood lords will do some severe damage to your ground army. And even though I don't use stim packs, and actually we haven't even brought into that upgrade yet for the Marines, the brood lords will damage your ground army, and without the Vikings, your Marines are going to be your only anti-air defense. So here we're just going to go ahead and plop our Vikings down. There's not a lot of clear area to maneuver in, and so we're going to just take it down, take out the virophage, clean out the base, and we're in pretty good shape. Now this time we're going to want to repair our Vikings, but we don't do it again. But we don't have that much damage. We're going to go ahead and attack that south base, and again from the south, coming out of the north rather, into the south. We want those Vikings attached with the follow command. Again, not only to clear the air units of the Zerg, but as we were attacking uphill, we want to give that additional sight to our ground army so they can employ their weapons. We're going to go ahead and start landing our Vikings to help clear this final base. And this base is this particular mission is going to be over very shortly here. Again, very important. Take out that Air Force in the infestation next to our base. Don't land. And when you do the south infested area, pick up those Vespene pellets to the southeast. From there, race to 24 Vikings.
Sir, it's done.
And I think you'll get it.
Detecting any more Zerg.
Hope you enjoyed it.
In the lab.
This is quite a fun mission, I think. And at the casual level, we took one loss. I think, pretty sure that was a fire bat. But anyway, hope you had fun. This is Basic Dude. Hope you learned something. Over and out. Till next time, see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.